So thank you for joining me. We are looking here at a section of scripture in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. So let's talk about the Apostle Paul, and why do I want to talk about him? So recently I had this injury, this thing that probably people in their 80s get, and just waiting for it to heal, to feel comfortable, walking, etc. And here's the thing, I'm 3 decades from that. So to have something like that just sprung up out of the blue, that affected my mobility, etc., it was excruciatingly painful, and I did not enjoy a single moment of it. But it reminded me of the Apostle Paul, and I don't need to be a big baby and complain, but it was really painful. But I was thinking about the Apostle Paul, and I will use whatever I can, and we're going to talk about him today in our time together. So we know that the Apostle Paul, probably next to Jesus Christ, was the most effective minister of the gospel. He spent time with Barnabas in Antioch, all of his travels going to Cyprus, Galatia, Athens, Syria, just to name a few. We actually previously did a long exhaustive study on all of the things that happened to him. And we also know that he had this thorn in his flesh. Now, it wasn't a literal thorn. It could have been a physical ailment, something that sort of was preventing him physically from being able to do what he needed to do. Maybe it was some sort of personal weakness. But let's look at what the scriptures have to say. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, starting in verse 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelation, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I become exalted above measure. Concerning this thing, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in needs, in persecutions, in distress for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So during this time of sort of recovery, and I've just spent a lot of time thinking about the Apostle Paul and the length of time that he served doing things for the kingdom with this affliction, whatever it is, with this ailment, with this personal weakness, sin, whatever it is, he spent an exorbitant amount of time doing work for the kingdom. And I only had probably about a week waiting for things to kind of settle down and not flare up so I could walk without pain. But having said that, I only had to do about a week, and I can't imagine the Apostle Paul and the length of time that he spent having to deal with this. Was it something physical? Was it a physical infirmity? Maybe he had a limp. Who knows what it was? But think about the amount of time that he spent and all the things that he did for the kingdom, and how much this was a struggle for him. So I really have no reason to complain, right? Because the Apostle Paul spent so much time doing work for the kingdom with this thorn in his flesh that I could certainly handle a week of whatever this was, this inflammation, etc., that made it most difficult to walk for a great portion of the time. All right, let's think about the Apostle Paul when we have these physical things that come up in our lives that detract from the quality of life that we have at the moment. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.